Jump on here and say hello to everybody since yesterday's live was like a hot mess. I feel like I do better if I just go live at home where the Wi-Fi is good, which is weird because I'll be driving and it'll say I have like 4 or 5 bars, and then all of a sudden it'll say it's not able to connect. So I think we'll definitely have to look at a different carrier next time. I don't even know who. I think we have AT&T maybe. Anyhow, I want to jump on here and kind of reiterate some of the stuff I was trying to get across yesterday before my live completely crashed. So I've been up editing and sneezing all freaking morning. I feel like the pollen count is crazy lately. Also, prayers and our thoughts to everybody in Florida. Hope everybody is safe in the path of the hurricane. I know we've got a lot of viewers and friends and stuff that live in Florida. So our prayers to all of you guys, and hopefully you get in a safe spot and this hurricane isn't as bad as what they're forecasting. I was trying to look here. I think DeSantis is talking on YouTube. Tracking Hurricane Milton live, Florida, Cat 4. Yeah, hopefully that drops down. I haven't watched any of the latest forecasts because I've been editing and stuff this morning. I was trying to see. I see it's a Cat 4 now. But I seen somebody was talking, like, even though it's a Cat 4 now, it's literally like 1 or 2 miles per hour from being a Cat 5, so it's not like there's a huge difference. But hopefully, when it makes landfall, it drops way down. Let's see. Trying to find. There's a guy that I watch here on YouTube. Is this it?
Looking at
Max velocity. Let's see what he's saying about this. It is crazy how big that. Kenzie was showing me yesterday, like maps or pictures of different hurricanes that's hit Florida and the size of this one compared to other ones. It's pretty crazy. I remember back when we were kids, we were taking a trip to Florida. And we went down to, we were heading to Key West, and we went down to through Miami after Hurricane Andrew hit, and just the devastation that that caused. And that wasn't like, as far as I can remember, compared to these hurricanes, that wasn't like a massive hurricane, at least by size. Maybe by category it was big, but
first couple of the day are back up in Flagler County, Florida. The green polygon here on your screen, it's a little bit light. That's the area. That's near the St. Johns River, south of St. Augustine, north of Palm Coast. It looks like we already have some sort of flooding report. St. Johns County Emergency Management relayed a picture of flooding along Alvin Street in Hastings, Florida. So flooding has already begun to be a problem.
yeah, that's one thing I do like watching a lot of these weather YouTubers over like the cable networks, because I think these guys do a better job.
So plenty of rain currently falling across much of central.
A new tornado warning has been issued
In northern Florida. They have issued a new tornado warning on the storm that has had a history of producing tornadoes in Palm Beach County.
Any of you guys in Florida right now? Let me pull up, I can answer some of your guys' questions. So yeah, we will be uploading a brand new family haunting episode coming out this Friday night, 8 o'clock. I just posted a short to that here shortly. I'll be putting up the preview for that episode. It's got a very crazy twist that happens about halfway through the interview. Is super crazy, so make sure you tune in Friday night, 8 o'clock. Hopefully a lot of you guys have power. I know when the tornadoes hit our area earlier this spring, I think we lost our power for 4 or 5 days, so it definitely sucks when you lose power and stuff. But although losing your home and everything is far worse than losing power, let me pull up the chat here. Turn the sound down because I don't want to hear myself talk. Why is this thing not playing? So yeah, our plan is this weekend we have to go to Chicago to work with the family. And then after that, we're going to pick up supplies and make a trip down to Tennessee to take supplies. We're going to go check out our property. We have not been down there since all the flooding. So what I've been trying to do the last couple days is find a reputable organization we can either drop supplies off to while we're down there. We'll be heading to like the Greene County, Tennessee area, down towards like Greenville, Tennessee, Newport, Tennessee. So if there's anybody like in the chat that is in that area and that you are in desperate need of supplies or need supplies to help out in any way, I know they're needing like perishable goods, a lot of cleaning supplies, baby formula, stuff like that. If you could shoot us an email or just drop a comment below here, and we'll try to pick up all those supplies. I know it's easier for us to buy them here in Ohio and bring them down to you guys. Last I heard, a lot of the stores in that area are pretty slim pickings. So we'll load up our vans and make a trip down there. And I know some of the areas it's just almost impossible to get to. So I think that will be the best thing. And if you are in that area and you can't get out, we will bring the supplies to you, providing that we can get to where you're located. So, you know, whatever you need, whatever can help out, just let us know. And like I said, we're hopefully going to be heading down to Tennessee Tuesday, Wednesday, and then anything that we can do to help out for a few days while we're down there as far as work's concerned. So that's our plan. I don't believe that this hurricane's going to go up in that area again. So at least for the people in Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, you know, luckily you guys won't be dealing with any more heavy rains. Yeah, I'll definitely go back through these comments. A lot of people are giving suggestions on churches and stuff in that area. So I said Mary Ann's got friends in Ybor City, Tampa, still there. Yeah, I feel like if I was on the coast there, I would just evacuate. Obviously, some people stay for whatever reason, and I've never been through a hurricane, so. Let's get some questions in here. Jody from Utah. We got Scott Phelps. Let's see here. Standard. I know I was talking to Scott about becoming a moderator, so everybody welcome Scott to the moderation of the channel here. Hello, Duke. I mean, Tucker. Duke's still in bed. We got Brooke from North Carolina. Brooke, how are you guys doing down there? Trying to read some of your guys' comments here. Got Josh, Chimney Rock, North Carolina. I heard Chimney Rock was completely hit extremely hard. I was watching somebody on YouTube last night. I think they said Chimney Rock was almost completely wiped out. So our prayers to you, Josh, in Chimney Rock. Yeah, obviously some of these towns and stuff will never be the same after something like that. I mean, you can't. Kenzie and I were talking because she updates me on the hurricane like all day long. I said floodwaters is, up here we deal with like tornadoes. We don't have hurricanes. There's nowhere in our area that would flood. We're not by any major rivers or anything like that. So the only thing that we would have to deal with is tornadoes. And I just feel like hurricanes and floods would be worse because of the water. Let's see, any questions here? Seth said it was so weird, like everything got cold and everybody started going far away from me. And next thing you know, it was like I was in another realm. I must have missed Seth's previous comment. What are you doing, Tucker? You just chilling? Come here, buddy. Over here. Come here. Over here, Tucker. Tucker's blind, so he has a hard time finding me. Tucker, come here. Tucker, come here. You want to say hi? Come here. Tucker. I don't know what he's doing. He's camera shy. So yeah, that's our plan. I think Rob's coming in Thursday from the UK, him and his wife. And so Rob's gonna be here with us for a few investigations. I imagine he'll probably go to Chicago with us. And then we've got another special location that we're gonna investigate in a week. So we'll try to go live with that. Dude, why are you wet? Were you licking on yourself? I don't know why you're wet. Hold on one second. I'm trying to figure out why Duke's all wet. Dude, I don't know why you're... Ouch. Okay. Maybe he was licking himself. Scott, I don't know if Rob's going to go to Tennessee with us or not. If you guys are just jumping on here, do not forget we have a brand new family haunting coming out Friday night, 8 o'clock. It's probably top 3 family hauntings I've ever experienced. And like I said, midway through the interview, there's like a huge twist that is just something I cannot explain. During the interview was probably the loudest banging noises I've ever heard in my life. You'll see at one point I literally almost jumped out of the chair. That happened twice. It was so freaking loud. And the family's like so used to it, like this shit doesn't even faze them. So it's pretty bizarre. We got Tammy Snyder says it's been raining here the last few hours already. I'm really nervous, but I'm going to leave it in God's hands. Prayers to you and your family, Tammy, and everybody down in Florida. Hopefully it's not as bad as what they're predicting, but just prayers that you guys are all safe. Also, if you're just joining on here, like I said, we are going to make a trip down to Tennessee. Probably be the Greene County part of Tennessee, because we want to check on our property when we get down there. So we're planning on bringing supplies down. So if anybody's in the Greenville, Newport, I'm trying to think what other areas down there were hit hard. Just drop us a comment, let us know what you need, and we will make a trip to get those supplies to you guys. Louise says, nice episode last Friday. It's the second time you went there. Yes, that is the second time we went there. We've been talking with Brandon ever since the first episode. So we just got a break to head over to his house and see if we could help figure things out. And I think the big thing with Brandon is he's sensitive to this stuff. And as you guys seen when I was talking to Brandon in the interview, is I really felt like he's never taken the time to fully grieve, and maybe he's carrying some guilt or something with it. And it's just trying to express to Brandon, that your brother was in a really bad place, and anytime you're dealing with addiction and mental illness and things like that, you can't blame yourself for the actions that others take. So we'd always, just encouraged him to seek counseling and, somehow find a way to be at peace with what happened and, live his life and enjoy the rest of his life. But it would be hard. I know how close, my brothers and I are, and if something like that would ever happen, it would be devastating. But I think it's just a mixture of him not fully grieving, and then him wanting to communicate with his brother, is keeping that door open. I will post a link. Donna wanted to know about the first episode. I will post the link when I get done here, and I'll pin it in the comments below here so you guys can watch the first episode we did with Brandon. Probably should have done that on the updated video, but I didn't. Mary says, I really believe Brandon's brother doesn't want to leave. If not, will you go back? I mean, there's a possibility if things get worse, we would go back. To be honest, there's only so much you can do with each case. I've always been, although we do have a very good success rate as far as helping families and cleansing homes, there's just no guarantees that the whole cleansing process is going to work. The spirit's going to be at peace. But at some point, it's just up to the families to stand up and take their life back and take their home back. We can only do so much, and we can guide them, but ultimately, it's up to the family to change their ways. And one thing I've noticed, because I was literally editing a new episode this morning, and the last couple of episodes, what I've noticed is these houses are just so freaking dark. And that's one thing I always encourage people is to open up, clean up the clutter, open up windows, get some light in there, just make the place feel more at home. And just some of these places are just so depressing. You walk into, they're just so dark. And, like you guys can see behind me, I took down an awning outside the window Duke's looking at. And it just let so much more light inside the house. And that's the one thing I wanted, was just more natural light inside my house. But that's the one thing I've noticed, is so many of these houses are just so dark and depressing. And I think it would go a long way just mentally if they would get more light in the house, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's very rare that things will escalate after we do the cleansing and stuff. Um, Family hauntings are always very tricky. I think that's why a lot of groups don't do family hauntings. They'll go out and investigate locations, is because typically if cleansing does not work, what I've noticed over the years is one, the person doesn't want it to work, because, and it's very rare that that happens, but it's because they get so much attention from the haunting, whether they have, huge social media following or post videos on TikTok or on YouTube or whatever. If the cleansing worked and the spirits were gone, then that whole part of their life would be gone. So a lot of people like to hang on to that. Other ones is where the families continue to try to communicate with it after we leave, and they don't really stay, I guess, use our advice and stick with it. And then there's always those cases where it doesn't matter what you do, that land, that property, it's possible that it's always going to be haunting. And I know that we've talked with people in the Catholic Church who have worked with families for years, and they would agree that there's just some cases that are just so negative and so bad, it doesn't matter what you do. For whatever reason, there's always going to be some type of energy there. Brooke wants to know, have you ever done an investigation in North Carolina? No, but we do have a lot of cases coming up in North Carolina. Obviously, some of those are on the back burner right now just because getting to the location, and I know a lot of people are down there doing cleanup and all that stuff, so we don't want to be, driving through that and creating a headache for anybody. So it's just easier for us to avoid the hard hit areas until, things are back up and running on a safer, and so we're trying to stay out of the areas that are hit hard just because we don't want to be a nuisance. Luis, what's happening is Brandon still in contact with his brother, never has peace. Yeah, and like I said, I don't judge anybody for, especially like Brandon and his situation. I'm fortunate that I'm not in that situation with either one of my brothers, so. Let's see here. Trying to read some comments here. Amanda was gifted a membership by Twiggy. Thank you, Twiggy, for gifting memberships. Yeah, we do plan on coming into Canada to do some cases. Matter of fact, when I get done here, I'm going to work on my passport. I got the paperwork. I just got to take it up to the post office. Mary Cobb. I've lived in 3 houses in Kentucky that were haunted back in the 90s, 2009. There was no help at all. We had to do the cleansing and everything to eventually leave. Yeah, that was kind of the boat that we were in when we were dealing with our stuff. Is, like I said, back then we didn't have like the internet and all that stuff. So it was like, who in the hell are you going to call back in the early 90s to come investigate your house? And back then when we were going through our stuff, I don't even think I even knew that like paranormal investigating was a thing. And there was no way in hell any of the churches around us were going to come in and do anything. Jackie says, come to Pennsylvania. We've spent the last 2 months in Pennsylvania. I do enjoy Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania seems to be like one of the most expensive states we travel to. So that's what I was expecting when I went up to New York and New Jersey and stuff, that it would be like crazy expensive, but really the prices up in New York, New Jersey and stuff were about the same. I'm just talking about the prices that tourists and stuff were to counter, not like living there. But gas prices, food prices, all that stuff were about what you would expect here in Ohio. But then when you get into Pennsylvania, it's like the prices are outrageous. We got the Paranormal Encounters in here. Hello, Paranormal Encounters. Young and Turnt, I don't understand how other ghost channels have 1 million subs, but this channel doesn't. Well, that is just the structure of the other channels. I've always been of the mindset I want everybody that ventures out on YouTube to be successful, so I don't look at other channels that have more subs or less subs. I would prefer, let's say if you told me I'll give you 1 million subs versus what you have now, I would take what we have now 100%, wouldn't even question it, because I would rather have dedicated viewers that we consider friends, that I know have our back and pray for us and really are invested in what we do, versus having 1 million people that could care less about you, just want to watch your video and move on to the next one. So to me, I don't look at the number. Yeah, 500,000 subscribers is a good thing, but I look at the quality of subscribers we have versus, and it's not to say that people don't support the other channels. I'm sure they do, but I guarantee it's not the 1 million subs. So sometimes it's quality over quantity. And like I said, we do wish we wish everybody success and want everybody to be successful. So, and I'm sure a lot of them, probably feel the same way about us, as they could care less. They just, PA, Donna says PA is expensive and high taxes. Got to West Virginia to shop for food and gas. I need my chapstick. Linda says great community here. I agree. Bethany Fury, our good friend, thank you for the donation. We got to spend some time with Bethany at the Paranormal Convention. And thank you everybody who came down to Marietta, Ohio, the Anchorage House, the big paranormal event and investigation. We had a great time, so hopefully we can do that again next year. Thank you, Bethany, for gifting a membership to Kristen. Welcome to the membership, and give a big shout out to all the channel members here, everybody on Patreon, all of our lovely mods. Thank you guys for doing an amazing job. Let's see here. Blue, let me stop chat. Blues Lady 25, it was fun meeting you and your brothers. Definitely will do the hunt next year. Yeah, you would think sitting there for 6 or 7 hours on your feet talking to people nonstop would get tiresome. But honestly, the time goes by so fast that you may be there 6 or 7 hours, but it literally felt like you were there for 2 hours. It's just the one thing my brothers and I have always loved doing is meeting new people. So anytime we get the opportunity to meet and listen to people's stories, and it's just something that we've always loved doing. That's the most, aside from the paranormal stuff, being able to meet different people from all over the country, sharing their stories. That's kind of something that really is my passion, is sitting down, listening to somebody, and then documenting their story, and then putting it all together and sharing it with the rest of the world. Thank you, Twiggy, for your donation. Greatly appreciated. Thank you, Mary. Lenbach, is that right? Thank you for your donation. And another thing we'll probably do, like I said, next week we're going to go to Tennessee. We'll find somewhere that we've got a good service and maybe do a live, and then we'll take all those donations that come in during that live and we'll find a good place to donate. I know one thing I was watching last night is there were some animal shelters wiped out, and fortunately they moved a lot of the animals to safer animal shelters. So a lot of these animal shelters are overrun because they've literally just doubled or tripled the size of what they could take. So maybe we'll do something like that where we can, that's a good idea too. We're going to get some, I want to get some dog food and stuff to take to the dog food and cat food to take to some of the animal shelters. Yeah, we'll do something down there to help out. I know sometimes it feels like, just one or two people that you're not really making a difference, but the key is all of us pulling together and helping these communities out. That's when it really does make a difference. So, like, even I was talking to Sean yesterday, and because I was watching videos on where should we donate to, where should we take all these supplies to, and the one church or group I was watching down in Newport, Tennessee, they literally had truckload after truckload. I mean, semi-truckloads of water and shit coming in. So if you look at something like that, you try to compare what you're doing versus a semi-truck full of supplies, it feels kind of insignificant. But Tennessee, North Carolina, those areas have always been very special to us, even as children. We just want to go down and do whatever we can do. And I think it would be good if we just found people that are friends with us on here and, just say, hey, I need this, and this could help out. Let us know. We're making a trip down there by Tuesday. So Cherry Bomb, thank you for your donation for the animals. Sammy in Brooklyn, our good friend Sammy who showed us around. Sammy, I will mark that donation and we will put that towards the animals. And I don't want to start taking donations now, so I appreciate all of you guys donating. The ones that can't donate, if you guys offer your prayers and support go a long way. Not everything has to be about being monetary or anything like that. I know right now the economy and shit sucks, so just offer your prayers and let's read some comments here. We got David from Melbourne, Australia. Love your work. Keep on punching. Thank you, David. Punky Duck, been through addiction, etc. It was the saddest story of love and redemption. Hope he finds peace. Thank you very much. Yes, I figured the three of us will probably go shopping at some times, probably go to like Sam's Club. And then what I was thinking about doing, we have a ton of shirts, merchandise left over, is donating all of our merchandise. Because I know like clothes and blankets and all that stuff are wanted down there. So as long as people don't mind wearing Paranormal Nightmare shirts, that might be a cool thing. And plus, we're not planning on doing any more events the rest of this year. So instead of having cases full of merchandise sitting around, we'll give it to a good cause. Violet, yes, we have thought about going to another country and helping families. I've just got to get my passport done. Trying to find the time to do that. I've just been procrastinating. I procrastinate on things that's not really important and try to focus on important stuff. So but then sometimes the stuff I procrastinate on then become important issues, and like a passport. Tadia, is that right? I'm sure I butchered the hell out of that name. $20 for the animals. Thank you. Appreciate the donation. We'll definitely have to find a animal shelter down there that's been taking in a lot of animals. The one thing I worry about going to the animal shelter is as soon as I see the dog that's looking up at me with the saddest eyes, I'll want to rescue it and bring it back home. So be prepared. We could be bringing some beautiful puppies home. NT says, Josh, you could keep a shirt or two, sign them, and auction them off. We could do that for sure. That's a good idea. Jojo wants to know, does it cost money for a passport? Yes, it does cost money for a passport. The money is not the reason why I'm not getting the passport yet. I just have not. I've got to drive 40 minutes to turn in my paperwork and all that stuff. I just haven't had the time to do it yet. Don says, my husband and I have rescued 4 dogs. That is good. That's the hardest thing when you walk into like an animal shelter, is not rescuing a dog or a cat, for you cat lovers out there. Because all the dogs like look at you like, take me, take me, take me, with the cutest and saddest eyes. Andy, yes, we will. We plan on doing a lot of overseas travel once I get my passport. I think it'd be cool to do cases outside the country. Speaking of cases outside the country, the video I'm editing right now, the craziest thing happened to Sean. So he's down running in the basement. He's in the house by himself. He's running Ghost Tube. And obviously the voice coming across is Ghost Tube. But then all of a sudden the voice starts coming across in like Asian. I don't know if it's Chinese or whatever, but an Asian voice starts coming across. And what we found out afterwards is his dad was actually stationed in one of the countries, one of the Asian countries. I don't want to say which one because I don't want to misquote it. And his dad was killed during the war. So we're going to do some research on this house to see if that fits in anywhere aside from the story with his dad. So that's like the first time it's ever happened to us where the voice just automatically changed into a different language. Thank you, Janice, for the donation. Greatly appreciate it. A lot of people on here rescuing dogs. I love that. Yes, cold weather coming up after this hurricane. I seen like this weekend here in Ohio, it's supposed to be like in the 80s, and then like Monday, it's supposed to drop down in the 50s. So like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is going to be pretty cold. Robin, thank you very much. Yeah, that's what we should do with this live, because I'm already getting good donations in here, is I'll keep track of the donations we get in this live, and we'll just take that down there and we'll give that to a dog rescue or kennel down there. But like I said, don't feel like this live isn't about donations and money or anything like that. I just wanted to update you guys on what's going on, and I appreciate anyone that has the opportunity to give. Vanessa, do you guys charge people to investigate their homes? Nope, we don't charge people. We've never once charged people. We've had people try giving us gas money, money for food, and we've always told them that we appreciate the offer, but we've always declined. We believe in karma, so doing this for the right reason. I know there are some people that think, it's all about the money, and that's, why they do these family hauntings. Trust me, we did this way before we ever made $1 off of YouTube or, and you can talk to there. We've worked with thousands and thousands of families for the past 20 years, and we've never once taken a dime from any of the families. So, no, we do not charge. I know there are teams out there that do charge an extraordinary a lot of money, but we do not charge. We're just grateful that the families reach out to us and trust in us enough to try to help them and share their stories. And that's all we ask, is just the opportunity to try. All the families know that there's no guarantees. But yeah, I would feel bad taking money from people in a vulnerable situation. So, and that's something that we decided early on when we started this is, we would never take money from anybody. I think the good thing is we grew up like dirt poor. So money, although money is nice and it's nice to not live paycheck to paycheck and figure out how you're going to pay your bills. But I think because of us growing up so poor, we don't put that big of a value on money because it wasn't something that we ever had growing up. So like my biggest fear in life is obviously being poor again, because you try as an adult to get to that situation where you're financially independent and you're just living. All I want to do is ever live a comfortable life, provide for my kids and my family. So money was never. When you grow up poor, you find other ways to be happy, and you don't rely on money to make yourself happy. So as an adult, and that's one thing I've tried to teach my daughters, is you can be happy without having the best of things. And even my wife and I, we could provide more for our daughters. We didn't, because try to mute this thing. Thank you, Jennifer, for the donation. Prayer to the people impacted by all the storms. Susan Ruth, welcome to the membership. My phone literally never rings until I go live.
Hello, please leave a message after the tone.
We get a lot of telemarketers call. Honeybee says, I would rather live middle class than be rich. I agree. I don't mind middle class. Obviously, being rich might be fun if you're rich, but I think if you're rich, and because there's a lot of rich people out there that have good hearts and do a lot of good things for people and charities, and so not at all bashing on rich people. So you can have assholes as rich people, you can have assholes as poor people, but I just myself don't put a whole lot of value on money. Ask Rocky and Sean, I'm very frugal and very cheap. Somebody wants to know what people still have house phones. This person. We thought about we are going to get rid of it eventually. It was actually crazy story. We have Spectrum, so it's actually cheaper to have the bundle, where if we would get rid of just say the house phone and keep the internet and cable TV, it would cost us more. So it's actually cheaper for us to keep the house phone. Although I thought about unplugging them just so they would never ring again. Linda said Sean told us how cheap you were. Nanny Shake, that's a very good point. You never miss what you never had. Never been rich with money, but rich with other things. Yep. Money's nice, don't get me wrong, but you can't take your money with you. Pamela, yes, people helping people is a good thing. I agree. That's the one thing I like to see, because it seems like for the past 4 years or so, it's like it's always been about, this group of people hates this group of people. But when something like this happens, like the hurricane that hit this last time and the floods and the hurricanes have already hit Florida, you really see the good side of humanity, how communities pull together and people, neighbors helping neighbors. And it just really, with all tragedy, I think good things come from it. Shannon says people need to come together. I agree. That's always been one of our passions, is like Diana was saying, is helping people. Like I said, even if it's not like something paranormal, just taking the time out of your day to sit down and listen to somebody and, just show that person that they're important and you care about their well-being. And Rose says, good morning, Josh. We love you. Thank you, Rose. Jenny, she's got a picture of a dog as her her profile picture, and she says, I have no willpower when it comes to dogs. Let's see here. I'm trying to read comments. I'm sorry, sometimes I don't look into the camera, but I'm just trying to read your guys' comments. Margaret says, we were poor growing up, but never knew we were poor, if that makes sense. I agree. I think back when we were younger, you just had to find your own entertainment, like being outdoors. And I agree. I mean, I get, I was actually just talking to Kenzie about this a couple days ago, is, what she explained is, it was definitely a lot safer for kids to be outdoors back when we were kids versus kids nowadays. Not that it's not safe for kids, but obviously you have to watch out for your kids more nowadays than what you did when we were growing up. Susan Ruth, thank you so much for the donation. We must save the animals. So what did you guys do when you were younger to entertain yourself without the internet and the cell phones and all that stuff? We have not done a haunting in Utah. Cindy says, I think having our smart devices has been a blessing and creating some anxieties and distractions. Yeah, I think technology with the internet and the cell phones and stuff is obviously the good side of it is, you know, people like us from all over the world are able to connect and spend this time together. You're able to communicate back and forth with your loved ones, especially like with this hurricane coming in. You can let your loved ones know if you're okay. You can call for help. So there's definitely good things with it, but there's also, with anything good, people always use it for evil. Um, that's the one thing about evil people, always find a way to turn something that's good and positive into something very bad. Hiking and fishing, Viva says, as kids, we did a lot of hiking and fishing. Donna played dodgeball, football. Let's see here. Lemon read books, sewed, made clothing items, talked to neighbors, played outside. Chrissy, Ocala, Florida, drizzle right now. Chrissy, be safe, you and your family. Alicia, riding bikes. We did a lot of bike riding. The first time I was hit by a car, I was on a bike. Hunted, fishing. We did a lot of hunting and trapping when we were kids. Played in the woods. See, we all had the same childhood. Played in the woods, did hiking, fishing, hunting. I do know my neighbors. I think some places you probably don't get the opportunity to. We're fortunate where we live on a nice, quiet street. So we always check on each other, and we've got a lot of elderly people that live on our street. Sammy from Brooklyn says paddleball and basketball in the city. I feel like growing up in like a big city would be easier to be entertained versus out in the middle of freaking nowhere. Hello, Victoria. Oh, my back is killing me. I've been editing since 4 o'clock this morning, so yeah, if you're just joining in on this live, we got a brand new episode coming out Friday night, 8 o'clock, family haunting. It's probably one of the top 3 family hauntings I can remember that have been this profound. There's a huge twist in the middle of the interviews, so definitely check out Friday night. The good thing is Kenzie's Friday night football games are almost done, so I can focus on chat on Friday nights again. So I do apologize for not being around some on the Friday nights in the live chat. Just for so many years, especially with Kirsten and her sports and stuff, you know, we always missed out on things that our kids were doing and sporting events and things like that. So I'm just trying to be go to more of her events and support her with her cheer and football games and stuff like that. So I do apologize for not being in chat, but Kenzie greatly appreciates you guys letting her spend some time with me. Daisy says you will not get those days back. I agree. Even with Kirsten, I always tried to make time for those things, but I feel like we missed out on a lot. Because with our kids, this is all they've ever known, because we've been doing this for 20 plus years. So Jennifer Jackson says family is more important. I agree. Family is more important than anything, but also the families that we work with, you know, are just, I wouldn't say as important as our families, but we just invest a lot of time into them because, you know, helping them is very important to us. So it took us many, many, many years to find a balance, you know, where we were given our time to complete strangers versus spending time with our families. I think early on we focused so much on helping other people that we kind of neglected our responsibility with our families. So that's something that I would say over the last couple of years that we've really tried to level off. But we all learn. Um, yes, we all learn with wisdom. With age comes wisdom, hopefully. Thank you, Violet. Thank you, Jennifer. We appreciate all the kind words from everybody. Yeah, I feel like when you get older, you start to realize things. It's funny how that happens. You can have all these life experiences at a younger age, but they don't really make sense or they don't really sink in. But as you get older, you start to reflect on the time that's went by and the time that you have left here. And that's really all we've ever wanted to do is, you know, help improve somebody's life. And God knows we made 1,000,001 mistakes on the way, but we've definitely learned and become better people from everything. Thank you, Jan Carlson. Shannon, in my early 50s. It's amazing how fast time flies by. Yes, it is. I still feel like my brother's got another good 10 to 15 years in us. That's my plan. I always take solace from the Warrens and how long they were able to do this. Obviously, I don't want to be in my 80s and 90s and still making YouTube videos, but I feel like there's still going to be a place for us in helping people. I'm not quite for sure what that'll be or how that'll turn, but somebody said in the back. I don't know what they're talking about. Did something go by me back there? Actually, this episode Friday night, that's what I wanted to say. I had so much weird shit happening here at my house when I was editing that episode. I was sitting out here, it was like 3:30 in the morning, I was editing, and I heard a real loud crashing sound in my kitchen. Went out there and the bottom cupboard doors were wide open and there were like 2 or 3 pots and pans laying on the floor. I actually shot video of this, so I'll show it to you guys. And Tucker was in his bed sleeping and Duke was over here on the couch sleeping. And then a few days after that, I was sitting here editing, and I think at this time it was like 6:30 in the morning, and I heard a loud thump out in the entryway out here, and I went out there, and my wife's book bag that she has for work that's got her laptop and stuff in it had fell off the table in there. It's pretty wide. So this episode you're gonna watch Friday night, all kinds of weird shit was happening around my house. And I think Sean actually had strange stuff happening at his house as well. JJ wants to know, are you ready for Halloween? I'm ready for Halloween. Halloween's not really I don't really get that excited about Halloween. It's just another time for me. It's not Christmas and Thanksgiving, or Christmas is like my ultimate holiday. Thanksgiving, but Halloween, it's just another day. I feel like when your kids get older and stop going out trick or treating and stuff, Halloween becomes less significant in your life, which is kind of where I'm at because neither one of my kids dress up and go trick or treat or anything, but definitely enjoyed it when I was younger. I don't know where Kenzie's at. Kenzie should be good. She's at college classes right now. Shannon says, I just love the fall. Halloween is just another day. Now that the kids are adults, I agree. There are some things that you really enjoy doing, but once your kids get older, like going to like the county fair, it's not as fun when you don't have kids. Going out trick or treating, I mean, it would be creepy if you didn't have kids. So Halloween's just not my cup of tea anymore. NT, I did not burn any sage or do anything. If I have activity in my house, I basically just take the same advice I give to families is just ignore it, don't acknowledge it. So, that event happened. I just ignored it and hopefully it just dissipates. And a lot of it, I believe, is like residual energy that we may have brought with us, that may be attached to us, not like an attachment, but just that energy. But it's always weird that you'll be editing specific videos and that's when you have this stuff happen. So there's got to be a connection between editing the footage and watching the footage, playing the footage in my house or whatever that causes this stuff. Cree, Rocky's arm is slowly doing better. I know it's still sore. Sometimes he'll bump it when we're on the road and you'll hear him back there moaning. But he's slowly getting better. So thank you guys all for the prayers for Rocky and his arm. Brooke was working at a food truck at a fair in Ohio. Wonder what fair that was. Our town has one of the largest county fairs, I think, in the country. I forget how many hundreds of thousands of people come to our county fair, but it's very well known. People come from all over the country to get to our county fair. I believe our county fair is actually bigger than most state fairs, but I know it's one of the largest county fairs in the United States. The one thing I hate about fairs is fair food, because I love fair food. I've always thought if somebody opened a restaurant that did nothing but fair themed foods, it would be one of the most successful restaurants. But I am trying to eat healthier, so. Let's see. Nindad or Ninad? Ninad. How do you pronounce that name? Why is Rocky missing out from the recent investigations? Rocky had surgery, so he took some time off. Obviously holding the camera and all the movement, running into things in the dark and stuff is not good for just having surgery on his arm. He had some tendons and stuff reattached to the bone, so that's going to take quite some time to heal. Sweet shop, everything deep fried. That's the bad thing about fair foods, everything's deep fried. I was thinking at one time you'd get some like healthy, maybe like corn and stuff, like corn on the cob, but I think they even deep fry that shit. So I don't think anything at a fair is healthy. Vanessa says, I hate how expensive fair food is. Fair food is definitely freaking expensive. Jody says they have a state fair in Texas with over 2 million visitors. That's quite a few. Let's see how many people, I don't know how many people come to the Let's see. Let's just do a little research right here. I feel like this year was an off year for the county fairs. It's typically on average around 250,000 visitors. Our fairgrounds is 185 acres, so it's pretty big. Dogs are not allowed. That's bullcrap. There's tons of dogs there. The fair includes rides, fair food, demolition derby, harness racing, and live concerts. $7 admission, $25 for the week. And for a county fair, I think that's pretty good. Over 250,000. Let's see what the average attendance is for a county fair. For a county fair. So the average attendance is 267,000. Most other fairs average between 83 to 84,000 visitors. The Montgomery County Fair had, I don't know why I'm talking about fairs, I'm just interested in the statistics now. Anyhow. Try to read some more comments before we go. So yeah, definitely, if you guys can be here Friday night, 8 p.m. Here in a little bit, I'm going to post the trailer and stuff and the link to Friday night's episode. So definitely make sure you check it out. Super good episode. I feel like I missed a donation. Duke, I hear your stomach growling, buddy. If you would go eat your breakfast, your stomach wouldn't be growling. Duke, you want to say bye to everybody? Duke. Duke. My dogs are freaking lazy as hell. Let me flip this around. I'll show you guys Duke. What are you doing? Are you being lazy? You just want your belly rubbed? You think I got to do everything you want? You just roll over, I'm going to rub your belly? Well, Tucker, he doesn't want his belly rubbed. How could you guys resist when he looks at you with those big brown eyes? And he's like, rub my belly. Oh, Daddy, rub your belly real quick. Hold on, Duke, I got this. Zoomed way into your face. Does that feel good? Yeah, you're a good boy, huh? Dickie's my boy, aren't you? See, everybody gets to see you in the car all excited and full of energy. They don't get to see the lazy Duke that just lays around while I do all the work editing. Huh. Your sleepy eyes. Because we got up early this morning, didn't we? So you came and woke me up at 3:12 this morning. You're such a good boy, huh? That's what I should do, is start a Duke cam. Okay, I'm done rubbing your belly. Are you going to say bye to everybody? Or are you just going to lay there? Oh. You going to say bye to everybody? Or are you just going to lay there? Let me flip this back around here. So, that's Duke when he's not in the car excited. That's the first thing when Duke wakes me up, or if I wake up early, I'll come out here and say hi to him. And the first thing he does is roll over and wants his belly rubbed every morning. And then I take him out to go potty. But anyhow, thank you guys all for spending some time with me. I'm going to get back to editing, take the boys pee, and then just don't forget, mark your calendars, mark your cell phones. Brand new episode Friday night, 8 o'clock. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. I was talking to people from YouTube about notifications because a lot of people that we've been talking to said that they're not getting notified. What you have to do, if you're not getting your notifications when we upload new episodes or go live, is on the notification bell, make sure you have that set to all. But another thing you have to do is, like, if you're watching us on like your iPad or your cell phone, you also have to have your settings on your cell phone or your iPad set to receive notifications from YouTube. Because some people will have their YouTube notifications on, but on their cell phone or their devices, they'll have the YouTube notifications off. So that's probably why you're not getting them. So if you want to, please double check that. If not, we'll see you guys, like I said, here later this afternoon. I'll post the trailer for the premiere and the link to that. You guys will absolutely love this episode Friday. Like I said, one of the most bizarre things that's ever happened to me during an investigation. And you can see through this investigation, I'm pretty shook up about it. I try not to do that. I try to stay very professional and in the moment and focus on the family. But sometimes things happen that startle you. This happened to be one of those cases. So yeah, we'll see you guys Friday night. Thank all of you guys for your support. We'll definitely be back in touch for when we head to Tennessee to do these donations. I'm going to take all the donations we got today. I'm going to add those all up, and we'll take that down and give that to a rescue, an animal shelter down there in Greene County, Tennessee. So thank you guys all. I'm sure the doggies are going to really appreciate it. And I don't know, maybe we can go live there and let you guys see some of the dogs. And if anybody's interested in adopting a dog, we can do something cool like that. And just anything we can do to help out. Everybody down in Florida, please be safe. Our prayers and our thoughts are with you guys. Anybody that's on here watching that are good friends with us and all that, if you could just please, when the storm hits and after the storm, update us, let us know how you're doing. It's good for you guys to reach out to the community and just let people know that you're safe. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a very scary night, a very sad night for a lot of people. So just know that we are thinking about you and we are all praying for you, and you have a huge community of friends that are praying for you as well. So just be safe in Florida. If you're in harm's way, heed the warnings, get out of the way, and yeah, we'll be praying for you. So thank you guys all. Everybody have a good rest of your afternoon, and just be safe if you're down in Florida.